Good afternoon and welcome to Clothe Your Field for today's women's lacrosse game between Swarthmore and Haverford. We will turn things over to Matthew Judge for Senior Day ceremonies.
They are here today to cheer on their former teammates as they are celebrated on Senior Day. Both the class of 2020 and 2021 will formally be invited back in October during Garnet Weekend and our 2022 alumni game. They will be celebrated at the time and receive their moment to be honored with their families. Thank you for all your dedication to the Swarthmore Women's Lacrosse program, and thank you for coming back today to support the class of 2022. We look forward to seeing you again in October. Before we honor our Swarthmore College seniors, we would like to recognize the Haverford Seniors. Hannah Lopez, Carolina Alexis, Callie Crawford, Roma Lackey, Kate Severson, Maria Krieg, Sarah Cowan. Congratulations to you all. Today, we are honoring 6 seniors who have meant so much to Swarthmore Lacrosse family. These 6 student athletes each brought their unique and valuable perspective, energy, and personalities to the program. It wasn't an easy 4 years for this group, and we applaud their resilience throughout the pandemic to keep this team moving forward in a positive direction. We want to thank them for their dedication, commitment, and leadership. First up, Rachel Cho. Rachel joined the team during the pandemic spring of 2021. A science and mathematics major from Clyde Hill, Washington, Rachel came to the program with no expectations other than doing what she could to help the team. Rachel is escorted by her teammate and friend, Ashley Payan. Kira Hall, an environmental studies and global studies double major with a minor in psychology from Skillman, New Jersey. Kira has tallied 46 points in 18 games so far. Her leadership both on and off the field has set a high standard for the program moving forward. Kira is escorted by her mother, Bryce, and her father, Jim. Helena Irvine. Lenny is an economics major from London, England. After an unfortunate start to her first season with an ACL tear, Lenny has battled back to make a huge impact on the team this season. She currently ranks 2nd in the Centennial Conference in draw controls with 75 and has recorded 38 points so far this season. Lenny is escorted by her mother, Cecilia, and her father, James. Elizabeth LeBeau. Elizabeth has been a consistent defender, playing a bigger role each year she has played. Graduating as a mathematics and art double major from Media, Pennsylvania, she didn't come far from home, but has definitely made her mark on this program, playing in a team-high 36 games. Her leadership both on and off the field has been invaluable. Elizabeth is escorted by her mother, Emily, her father, Steve, her brother, Brian, and her sister, Christina. Ellie Miller. Ellie came to us from Providence, Rhode Island, and will graduate with a degree in economics and English and a minor in peace and conflict studies. She has recorded 32 points and 57 draw controls in 28 games. A force on both the offensive and defensive sides of the field, Ellie has been a constant leader for the program for the past 4 years. Ellie is escorted by her mother, Jenny, and her father, Ken. Ashley Payan, a psychology and statistics double major with a minor in educational studies from Garnet Valley, Pennsylvania. Ashley has become a constant in the midfield as well as a team leader on and off the field. So far, Ashley has 50 draw controls in 28 games. Her dedication to the program as well as her work ethic has set a high standard for the underclassmen to follow. Ashley is escorted by her mother, EJ, and her father, John. Let's hear it for the class of 2022.
So once again, the Swarthmore women's lacrosse team, fresh off of their senior day ceremony, will host the 22nd ranked Haverford College Fords in an important Centennial Conference battle for both teams as we head toward the end of the regular season and the Centennial Conference tournament. The Garnet entered today's game with an overall record of 8-4, more importantly 3-3 in the Centennial Conference, and in a three-way tie for fourth in the conference standings. They're tied currently with McDaniel College and Washington College, and actually at this point they are tied for fifth because McDaniel earlier today went out and defeated Ursinus 20-17, moving them to 4-3 and into the fourth spot in the conference table. Meanwhile, Swarthmore and Washington College are tied for the fifth and final spot in the conference tournament. On the flip side, Haverford comes in 22nd in Division 3 with a 10-3 overall record and 5-1 in the Centennial Conference. They are tied for second in the league table. Looking their last times out, Swarthmore behind 5 Eleanor Miller goals, knocked off visiting Muhlenberg by the score of 11-8. Miller led the way with 5 goals. Elena Irvine added 3 in the victory. Meanwhile, in goal, Helen Stafford made 15 saves. It was a 4-2 game in favor of Muhlenberg late in the second quarter, but then Irvine and Miller went on a run, which ended with a goal from Isabella Bloomquist that saw the Garnet overcome that deficit and take a 7-4 lead with 8:34 to go in the third. Muhlenberg made it close late, scoring with 9:50 to go in the game to bring the Mules within 1, but Hall and Miller finished the game off, scoring in the final 6:15 to provide the 3-goal margin. Meanwhile, Haverford had no troubles sweeping aside Bryn Mawr 17-6, and that was a game that was over really at the end of the first quarter. The Fords went ahead 8-1 after 15 minutes of play and extended that lead to 11-1 at the half. And the player to watch out for Haverford is Roma Hadlaki, and she led the way in that victory with 5 goals and 1 assist. Looking at the starting lineups for both teams, for Haverford, who you see lined up across the middle of the field in all black, it'll be Sarah Kahn starting in goal. Across the back, we'll have Kate Severson, Lauren Kinney, Maria Craig, and Caroline Alexis. The midfield consists of Callie Crawford, Hadlaki, who I previously mentioned. She's also the most recent Centennial Conference Offensive Player of the Week, and they are joined by Lizzie Healy. And then the attack is Hannah Lopez, Sam Silverman, Jordan DeNaver, and Catherine Ferentz. Meanwhile, for the host Garnet, who are running out for their introductions right now, dressed in all white, in goal it will be Helen Stafford. She'll be joined in the back by Elizabeth LeBeau, Sophia Paleo, and Sadie Smart. The midfield is Ashley Pion, Emma Holub, Elena Irvine, Eleanor Miller, and Francesca Richardson. And the 3 attackers are Kira Hall, Abigail Love, and Andy Kapeloff. Looking at the numbers for the respective goalies, first for Haverford, their freshman from Glen Mills, Sarah Kahn, is playing in her 14th game of the season. She is 10-3 overall, with a goals against average of 11.62 and a save percentage of .441. She was only needed in the first half in their win over Bryn Mawr, making 4 saves during the opening 30 minutes. Meanwhile, on the flip side for Swarthmore, it's the sophomore from Reisterstown, Maryland, Helen Stafford. She'll be making her 11th start of the season. She is 6-4 with a goals against average of 10.58 and a save percentage of .525. So both teams just taking their final huddle, getting their final talks in before these two teams square off. Once again, Haverford tied with Franklin and Marshall for second in the Centennial Conference. Those two teams don't meet until the final day of the regular season on the 30th. Meanwhile, Swarthmore is now tied for 5th with Washington College, and those two teams will meet next Wednesday night down in Maryland. The top 5 teams in the Centennial Conference make the conference tournament. The 4-5 play in an opening play-in game, with the winner of that moving on to the semifinals. So the top 3 seeds get a bye, and it looks like right now, kind of looking at the table, it's going to be Gettysburg, Franklin and Marshall, and Haverford. It's just what order those 3 teams end up. And then Swarthmore, McDaniel, Washington College entering the day 3-3. Also Muhlenberg, kind of right there, kind of not, sitting at 2-4. So Swarthmore will be going from left to right in this opening quarter. As both teams get set for the opening draw control, it'll be Hadlaki against Irvine. And at first I thought they were going to start on the same side. Irvine eventually crossed over midfield. Irvine, one of the better players in the Centennial in draw controls with 75, leads the league in that statistic. And we are underway. The opening draw controlled by Ashley Pion of Swarthmore. Here comes Irvine, 22 goals and 16 assists this season for the Garnet. Now they'll pass behind the goal, and the Haverford defense really crowding that goal line area. Here's Hall trying to turn, is denied, and has to go behind the goal. Now they'll swing it up top for Emma Hollub. Irvine looked to drive toward goal, instead passes left. Shot goes wide. And that was Miller letting one go. Still 40 to shoot for the Garnet. Just underway here from Clothier Field. Ball once again worked behind the goal. It's Hall coming out the far side, trying to spin toward the center. Can't shoot, has to back it out. Shot clock down to 12. Here's Hollub driving left, shot on goal, bounces in on goal, and the save made by Kahn. So the freshman makes her first save of the afternoon with the shot clock winding down. Now the Fords have transitioned to offense. Haverford comes into the game scoring 14.3 goals a game. Meanwhile, Swarthmore's been very good defensively as that check by Irvine misses. And now the Fords can set up on offense. This Swarthmore defense allowing just 9 goals a game this season. And here's Sam Silverman looking for somewhere to go with the ball. Finds Hadlaki. She drives and scores. Pardon me, that's Catherine Ferentz. I was just expecting Hadlaki to be the one cutting. It was Ferentz, the junior from Swickley, Pennsylvania, with the goal. And the Fords lead 1-0, 2:20 into this contest. And for Ferentz, that is her 15th goal of the season, 53rd point. She now has 39 points in the last 7+ games. Entering today, over her last 7 games, 9 goals and 29 assists. And in the win over Bryn Mawr, she had 5 assists. So definitely more of a distributor than a scorer, but it's Ferentz who puts the visiting Fords in front 1-0 early in the first quarter here at Clothier Field. And this draw control won by the Fords. And they'll go to work. Here's Ferentz near side. And they'll pass behind the goal. And they'll spread out, allowing a cut in front of the net. And a goal. It's Jordan DeNaver finding space in front. Haverford just really cleared out to the whole arc, leaving it wide open for a cutter. And it was Jordan DeNaver taking it from behind the goal. And an early timeout called by Swarthmore. And the Garnet find themselves down 2-0. Just 2:46 into this contest for DeNaver. That's her 9th goal of the season. She now has a point in 6 straight games and a goal now in 5 of the last 6. So the quick timeout taken by the Garnet. And this is the 45th all-time meeting between these two schools. Haverford has the advantage in the series, 26-18. The last time these two teams met was back in 2019. It was Haverford just barely edging out Swarthmore by the score of 9-8. And the Fords have won the last 7 games in this series. Swarthmore's last win against Haverford came back in 2012, April 21st to be exact, and it was Swarthmore knocking off Haverford 11-8 in Haverford. Swarthmore's last home win against Haverford came back in 2007 by the score of 13-9. And right now it's the 22nd ranked Fords who have the early 2-goal advantage. Still plenty of time in this one. But it's the Fords who have the 2-0 lead. And we'll have Irvine and Hadlaki take the draw. Hadlaki, the leading goal scorer for Haverford, comes into today's game with 47. And she's in the fight for this ground ball. Draw control won by the Fords. Crawford had it, but it was knocked out of her stick by Ashley Pion, and Swarthmore takes control of the ground ball. So now they can try to settle themselves down and play some offense. And they'll pass it back to Stafford, and she'll find an outlet option. Now it's in the middle for Miller, fresh off her 5-goal game. And now Swarthmore in the Haverford half of the field, thanks to Francesca Richardson. And this pass looking for Miller, knocked down. Fight for the ground ball. And a foul called against Swarthmore. Looked like one of the players in that scrum checked an empty stick. And Haverford will get the ball back, leading by 2. It'll be Caroline Alexis passing it out of the back to Ferentz. Being pinned against that sideline by Richardson. He's able to cut into the middle. And now into the offensive zone. Good individual effort by the junior. And now the Fords go to work with 55 to shoot. Here's Ferentz on the near wing, now pass behind the goal. Still 35 to shoot. No one really moving for the Fords, and now it's Crawford putting the ball in motion. A shot and a save. Now we'll get a foul in the arc and a free position shot upcoming for Haverford. And the free position shot will come from Lizzie Healy. Or pardon me, that is Roma Hadlaki. Thought I saw a 17 for a second. It's Hadlaki, 8 of 16 on free position shots this year. And looks like she's ready to drive in on Stafford. She does, and scores. Stafford just unable to get her stick in the right place on that shot, narrowly missing the ball. But it's Hadlaki, the senior from Randolph, New Jersey, getting her 48th of the season. And the conference's leading goal scorer makes it 3-0 Fords, 10:01 to play in the first quarter. Once again, Hadlaki coming off a 6-point effort, 5 goals, 1 assist in the win over Bryn Mawr. And she scored at least 2 goals in every game this season. And she's on the score sheet early. And the shots right now, 3-2. Make that 4-2 as my screen just updates in favor of Haverford. And it looked like Ferentz won that draw control clean, but it's Crawford who ends up scooping up the ground ball. And the Fords go to work once again. And this is a Haverford team that's in the national rankings been sitting pretty much in the mid-20s all season long. They started the year receiving votes in the preseason poll. Then the first regular season poll saw them ranked 24th. Currently sitting at 22nd, being ranked for the first time since 2019. Good job by Crawford to keep that ball alive for Haverford, working against 2 Swarthmore defenders. Now off the handoff, a shot and a goal. I believe that's Hadlaki with her second. And just a simple handoff play at the top of the arc. And Hadlaki's able to cut in and get her second of the afternoon. And it's 4-0 Haverford. And Irvine comes back out to take the draw control for Swarthmore. And it looks like Irvine will stay on the same side as Hadlaki on this one. Trying to change it up. Ball up in the air. Same result, though. Won by Haverford. Ball ended up in the stick of Crawford once again. She came into today with 38 draw controls. And she's picked up the last 2 for the Fords. And they're back on offense once again. And it's been clicking so far for the team dressed in all black. 4 goals on 5 shots. Now they control at the goal line near side. Good defense by Paleo. Knocked the ball out of the stick of DeNaver, but DeNaver was able to keep it. Pass in the middle for Hadlaki, and they score. Great pass from Hannah Lopez behind the goal far side. And Haverford, for the most part, have been playing on the perimeter. But this time it's Hadlaki making the cut. Lopez with a perfect pass. And Hadlaki just does not miss from there. She's up to 3. And the Haverford lead is 5. You know, Hadlaki and Healy will come off. It's Hadlaki with the natural hat trick for the Fords, and another draw control by Callie Crawford, the senior from Maryland. And this is a very good road team. They're 7-2 away from home this season, which is an awful lot of road games. It's very disproportionate when you look at playing 13 games so far, 9 on the road and just 4 at home. Well, a foul and an 8-meter upcoming for Dinaver. They will end the season at home with 2 more home games, Ursinus and Franklin and Marshall. But a 10-6 road home split, not something you see too often. Dinaver goes in, shoots wide. And the ball the official at first signaled Swarthmore, but then switched. So Haverford ball, and now whistles. And the shot clock was reset to 90, which was appropriate when it was ruled Swarthmore ball, but when it was given to Haverford, it went back to 60. So the clock's reset properly, and Haverford back on offense. 50 to shoot. Leah Herzig was trying to go left. Instead flips it up for Crawford. She'll cut in and score. Callie Crawford has been doing a great job on draw controls, but now gets into the scoring column. She was able to cut in after taking the pass from Herzig. And she has Haverford's 6th goal of the afternoon. 4 different goal scorers now for the Fords. And for Crawford, it's her 39th goal of the season. She's playing in her 13th game, and she scored in all of them. Just 19 seconds past the midway point of this first quarter. So Irvine against Julia Curran this time on the draw control. It's Irvine able to win it to herself. And now we'll see the Garnet play offense. First time in a while the ball's been down at this end. Well, let's see if they can't cut into the 6-goal deficit they currently have at the moment. Pass in the middle, out of the reach of its intended target. And picked up by Keith Severtson. And here come the Fords once again. It's Ferentz across midfield. Going with speed. She goes right with the pass. And we'll get a whistle. And that's a good whistle for Swarthmore, because Silverman was about to find a wide open Jordan Dinaver. So instead of Dinaver with an open pass, it's a free position shot for Haverford. Taken by Silverman. And Swarthmore's able to come away with the ball. So after the save by Stafford, it's Stafford throwing the ball across midfield, looking for Richardson, but it's picked up by Laura Kinney. Now Kinney up ahead to Ferentz, and back come the Fords quickly once again. Pass to Lopez at the far post, and they score. Silverman got to the top of the arc, looked right, and there was Hannah Lopez all by herself. And the senior from Cantonsville, Maryland, has Haverford's 7th goal of the quarter. And it's 7-0 Haverford. 6 minutes to go in the quarter. And for Lopez, who did not play against Bryn Mawr, it's her 6th point in the last 3 games and a quarter. And let's see if Swarthmore can win the draw control and get some momentum. Because right now it's been all Haverford in this first quarter. And the draw control picked up by Curran. Irvine overran it slightly and allowed allowed the junior to pick it up from behind. And once again, Haverford's going to work. And that was Curran running into a double team, eventually getting the foul on Isabella Bloomquist. And now it's the forwards behind the goal once again. Pass for Curran, trying to run through 3 defenders. We'll get a whistle. It looks like a foul called against Swarthmore. It's not a free position, just outside the arc, so Curran will put it back in play. And she'll pass right for Lopez. That was Ferentz cutting in the middle. Ball's behind the net right now. And now up top for Leah Herzig. They go behind the goal once again for Lopez. Lopez up top for Curran. Curran nowhere to go, so they work it around far side. As you can hear the Haverford bench scream 30 to shoot. Pass goes in the middle. Shot goes wide out of the stick of Leah Herzig. Haverford wins the race to the ground ball, and that actually hits Stafford, so or the post. I'm not sure quite what it hit, but the shot clock reset to 60. I don't think it hit Stafford. I thought it just went wide. But I'm also way up here in the press box, and the officials are, down there on the field, can see it better. We'll get a whistle and a free position shot upcoming. Foul called on Sophia Paleo. We'll get a free position shot for Julia Curran. Just her second attempt of the season. And she'll take it herself. Save Stafford with the arm. Ground ball loose, picked up by the Fords. And they'll get it with a new 60. And they'll pass behind the goal and set up once again. Much more active with cutters than on previous possessions. Here's Ferentz in the middle of a huge crowd, finds Curran. Curran gets the stick free and scores. I'm not sure how that ball did not get checked out of her stick, but Julia Curran maintained possession, got the shot off, and scored. It's her 7th of the year. The 8th goal for Haverford in this quarter. And now Curran has scored in 3 straight games, scoring against Washington College, Bryn Mawr, and now against Swarthmore. Still 3:57 to go in the quarter. And this Haverford team has been red hot coming into play today. Won 5 in a row. And during that 5-game winning streak, they've averaged 18.8 goals a game. Meanwhile, allowing just under 9 a game. And right now, they're well on their way to beat that 18.8 goals a game pace with 8 here in the first. And they get the draw control once again, thanks to Catherine Ferentz. And they have 8 goals in a quarter for the second straight game. The Ford scored 8 times in the first in their 11-goal victory over the visiting Owls on Wednesday night. And once again, they go back on offense. In that game, they outshot Bryn Mawr 30-19, passed to the near post. Good job by the Swarthmore defense and Paleo, forcing Silverman to back up. Ball behind the net once again. Whistle from the official farthest away from the play. Ferentz has the ball. It looks like she has a free position opportunity. 1 for 9 this season. She's just going to back out and get it to Hadlaki. Now ball near side in the stick of Healy. Pass down low. Lopez trying to break free. Passes out of danger. Ball's on the ground. 30 to shoot. And the Ford's able to pick it up near the end line. Here's Crawford. Went to cut to the middle. Instead, passes right for Ferentz. And once again, Haverford really happy to keep on the perimeter early, but now they're much more active. And a shot goes wide from Healy out of bounds. 5 to shoot. And this shot sails high and wide. Shot clock expires. It's a shot clock violation against the Fords. Good defensive work by Swarthmore. And now their defenders will get a chance to get a breather as they're back on offense, approaching 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. It'll be Paleo to try to bring it across midfield, using Stafford as an outlet. Now it's Sadie Smart on the far side. Once again, it's very similar to basketball when you face a trap to keep someone back as an outlet pass, and they've used Stafford well and are across midfield. And now it's Irvine. And she has her stick checked from behind by Healy, and she's able to pick up the ground ball. So credit Healy, a caused turnover and a ground ball. And I don't think Irvine knew she was there. She just had her stick out, and Healy was like, thank you very much, with the easy caused turnover and ground ball. So we're under 90 seconds to go in the quarter. About a 10-second difference between the two clocks. So Haverford will have to shoot before the end of this quarter. Or if they choose, they could take a shot clock violation, but the way they're playing offense right now, as Ferentz throws a pass in for Crawford, shot, save, rebound, another save, Stafford. Ground ball loose and corralled by Ferentz. So now game clock at 40, shot clock no longer a factor. Ferentz in the middle, another save, Stafford. Good work by the sophomore on the shot from point-blank range. And here comes Swarthmore in transition with Abigail Love. She had 3 assists in the last game. Now it's Hall. Near post, shot on, and they score. It's Isabella Bloomquist, as she was getting knocked to the turf, able to turn around and get the shot off and beat Kahn for the goal. So it's Bloomquist from Hall, and the Garnet get one on the board. It's now 8-1 Fords with 17.9 to play in the opening quarter. And for Bloomquist, it's her 29th goal of the season. And for Hall, her 20th assist and 40th point. So some positive momentum for the Garnet as we approach the end of this first quarter. And just good work in transition the entire way by Swarthmore. After Stafford stood tall and made 2 big saves, the Garnet able to come right downfield and get the goal from Bloomquist. And now a foul on Hadlaki. She checked the open stick of Irvine on that draw control. Very easy call for the officials. And now it's Miller going left. Ball knocked out of her stick. Garnet pick it up. And Miller once again had the ball knocked out of her stick. And that's the end of the first quarter. So the 22nd ranked Fords score the first 8 goals of the game. Isabella Bloomquist is able to peg one back for the Garnet with 12 seconds to go in the quarter. And our score after 15 minutes of play, Haverford 8, Swarthmore 1. Start of the second quarter, about to get underway here from Clothier Field. Haverford leads Swarthmore by the score of 8-1. And just looking around the scores around the Centennial, as I mentioned at the top of the broadcast, McDaniel, who entered today in that three-way tie with Swarthmore and Washington College at 3-3 for the fourth spot, they knocked off Ursinus 20-17. Also, Dickinson defeated Bryn Mawr 15-10. Gettysburg remained undefeated in conference play, defeating Muhlenberg 18-7. And one other game going on right now, and it does concern Swarthmore. It's Franklin and Marshall, number 2 in the country, hosting Washington College. And with 8:46 to go in the second, that game is tied up at 4. So shots in that first quarter, 18-3 in favor of Haverford. They also won the ground ball battle 9-4. Helen Stafford, despite giving up the 8 goals, played well, making 7 saves. And Irvine wins the draw control to begin the second quarter. Runs right into a Haverford defender. That was Maria Craig drawing the foul. So Swarthmore with possession behind the Haverford cage. Here's Hall coming out near side, looking for an option, has Miller. And now back up top for Hollub. Swarthmore just keeping it at the top of the arc right now. Still plenty of time to shoot, 42 on the clock. Now here's Kapeloff trying to spin, fires a shot, knocked down by Kahn. And Kahn able to scoop up the ground ball. Kahn making her second save of the contest there for the Fords. And back they come quickly in transition. Foul on Irvine. She checked Ferentz. And a good foul to slow down this Haverford transition. They are very fast to bring the ball upfield. So if you can slow them down and do it, well, without committing the third foul in one transition move, why not? And it leads to a turnover here. Miller knocks the ball down and picks up the ground ball. She intercepted the pass from Healy. And here come the Garnet the other way. Here's Elizabeth Zack sprinting downfield, passing right for Irvine. Tries to cut to the middle and is forced out by the Ford defense. So a promising break. Ends up with Swarthmore now slowing it down and getting set into their offense. And here's Hall. And ball behind the net, the options to throw it up top for Zach. And now here's Miller driving left, but is forced behind. Shot clock down to 35. And it's Hall giving it up to Kapeloff. Kapeloff and Bloomquist switch places. And the pass goes far wing. Miller gets the right hand free, shot on, and into the stick of Kahn. And here come the Fords the other way, much slower this time around. Able to get across midfield. And they're back on the attack. Don't quite have numbers, so they'll back it out. And here's Crawford. And now Lopez drives left. Pass goes into the middle, and a huge hit. And an easy yellow card comes out of the official's pocket. LeBeau will be out for 2 minutes. And a free position shot upcoming. I mean, Lopez turned, and immediately LeBeau was there. Lopez able to shake it off, and she looks ready to take the free position. And she charges in, saves Stafford. The sophomore able to get the stick down and stop the free position shot. Here's Stafford with a long pass upfield, nearly intercepted by Crawford. It's on the turf and scooped up by Jordan DeNaver. And here come the Fords once again, 4-on-3. Pass for Silverman, her shot goes high and wide. She gets knocked down again. A little slower getting up this time. The official stops play. Sam Silverman, a junior from Cantonsville, Maryland, has an assist in this game so far. Also 36 goals on the year. She's up and play resumes. Still a minute 12 to go on the yellow card. Ferentz cuts into the middle and scores. Catherine Ferentz found a hole in the defense. She was driving right. Stafford tried to mirror her moves, and Ferentz was able to catch Stafford wrong-footed and threw it back the other way for the goal. Not really much Stafford could do there in that one-on-one situation. And Haverford leads 9-1, 10:19 to play in the second quarter. And LeBeau comes out of the penalty area after the goal. So both teams back at full strength as we get ready for the draw control. For Ferentz, it's her second of the game, 16th of the season. Does have 2 hat tricks on the year, and now sits 1 goal away from her third as the Fords win the draw control once again. And they quickly work the ball behind the goal for Lopez. You know, trying a pass down low, shot and a save. Stafford. Lopez turned aside. And the Garnet able to come away with the ground ball. And they're trying to go quickly in transition. And Healy knocks the ball out of the stick of Miller. And Crawford able to pick up the ground ball. Well, Swarthmore unable to cross midfield. And the Fords go right back on offense. And good work by the sophomore midfielder, ironically enough, from Swarthmore, and they score. It's Haverford's 10th, and it's Roma Hadlaki with her 4th of the afternoon, giving her 51 this year. It's her 6th 4-goal game of the season. She has a season-high 7, which came just a week ago against Washington College. And she'll come off and not take this draw control. Curran will take it for the Fords against Irvine. 9:17 to go in the second. It looked like Crawford just stepped over the blue line. So she's offside, and the ball goes back to Swarthmore. Let's see if they can't get something going here and try to cut into this deficit a little bit before halftime. And here's Hall. Passing it off. Coming out the far side and scoring, it's Bloomquist. She's got her second of the afternoon. And it's 10-2 Fords, 8:43 to go in the quarter. And the freshman from Boulder, Colorado has provided a spark, netting both Swarthmore goals. She's up to 30 now for the season, scoring in every game this year. And for a solid month, she was on fire for this Swarthmore team. She had 9 straight multi-goal games from March 2nd through April 9th. And able to score twice in this one. She's got both Garnet goals. And that cuts the Haverford lead to 8. Let's see if they can't use it and get some positive momentum going. As Curran kicks this draw control toward the sideline. She's able to stop it before going out of bounds. Miller there to throw the body on her. But Curran able to pick it up. And the Fords have the ball once again. And Curran, I've seen this a few times this season. After taking the draw control, switch sticks with Laura Kinney. And then Kinney came over and switched sticks on the sideline. So a whole sale of stick switches. But when the draw controls work and you win them, I guess it's worth it to go through all that. Now Ferentz draws a crowd and gets a foul against Swarthmore. So Ferentz will take the 8-meter. And this will be straight on against Stafford. Stafford has 8 saves so far, facing Ferentz, who runs out of room. And now Stafford able to come way out of her crease and pick up the ground ball for Swarthmore. Good patience by the sophomore. Ferentz went right, tried to make a cut. She was helped out by her defenders on the flanks. But then Ferentz just ran out of room and lost the ball in the process. Now here's Sadie Smart getting across midfield. Runs away from a check of Lopez and secures possession for Swarthmore in the offensive end. It'll be Abigail Love taking it behind the goal. Good individual effort by the junior from Brookfield, Connecticut on that play to get across midfield. Pass in the middle. I'm pretty sure that was a shot high from Hall, but a push called. And Kira Hall will get a free position shot for the Garnet. 3 of 7 this year on free position shots. And she's going to take this to the right side of the arc. Kahn's left. And she's not going to take it. She backs it out. And Swarthmore works around the perimeter. And another push called against Haverford. Miller drawing the foul against Healy. And now it'll be Eleanor Miller with the free position shot. 2 for 7 on the year. She'll wind in, take it, and score. Miller just took 2 or 3 steps and said, here you go. Stop it if you can. Kahn couldn't. And Miller gets her 22nd or 21st goal of the season on the board. She's now scored 5 straight games, and it's back-to-back goals for Swarthmore as they cut the Haverford lead to 10-3, 6:56 to go in the second quarter. And this is starting to look much more like the Swarthmore team we've seen all season long. I don't believe this is a case of Haverford fully taking their foot off the gas pedal. But Swarthmore able to inch closer. We're down 10-1. It's now 10-3 here at Clothier Field. And Hedlacki back out to take this draw control for Haverford. But she commits the foul again on Irvine. And Swarthmore has the ball. That's 2 or 3 times that Roma Hedlacki's been called for checking the empty stick of Irvine. Irvine just waiting for the ball to come down, and Hedlacki just checks the stick. And you can't check an empty stick. So Swarthmore going back to work. They've scored the last 2. Here's Abigail Love. Spins into traffic, drawing the foul. And it looks like the official signals a hold. And an 8-meter shot upcoming for the freshman from Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Love 2 for 6 this season. Charges in and scores. And it looks like the Garnet have finally found their offensive touch. That's 3 in a row by the Garnet. And it's 10-4. 6:17 to go. And that's 2 goals about 40 seconds apart. And for Abigail Love, that's her 17th of the year. And now has a point in 12 of the 13 games this season. Only time she did not have a point was when Swarthmore played Gettysburg on April 9th in that 18-5 loss to the Bullets. And not quite sure what this was all about. The official blew the whistle. The draw control really didn't get up in the air. I wasn't sure there was a follow-up whistle. But they called the infraction against Swarthmore, and it's Haverford ball. And here's Hedlacki. He's got 4 goals in this one. Passing into the middle. Curran takes a stick up high. And a card comes out. Check to the head. And getting this one is Francesca Richardson. So the junior from Concord, Mass, out for 2 minutes. And Curran with a free position opportunity against Stafford. Once again, straight on. And Curran just backs it out. And he'll play offense. So if you're Swarthmore, you're hoping this doesn't prove to be a costly penalty and kill the momentum that you've worked up getting back into this game. And they've got the ball after the turnover right in front of the Swarthmore net. And Stafford with a long outlet pass up ahead to Paleo. She's across midfield, draws the foul against Silverman, draws another foul on Nancy Tucker. And Swarthmore's able to get the clear into the offensive zone. It's Bloomquist with a pass in the middle for Miller. Now working around far side. Here's Love behind the net. 56 to go on the penalty. 42 on the possession clock. It's worked up top for Irvine. Had a screen but didn't use it. Instead passed left side for Miller. And now Bloomquist gives it up behind the goal. Here's Hall. Drawing a double team as she works her way toward the middle. Tough pass, finds its target in Irvine. She's a spin away and back out. Pass in the middle for Love. She falls down. Ball falls out of her stick. Haverford able to take control. I believe that was Craig picking up the ground ball for the Fords. And they'll go back on offense with 10 seconds to go on the Richardson yellow card. Here's Ferentz over midfield. Passes off to Tucker. Back to Ferentz, has space, and that quickly goes away. Now Tucker drives into the middle, drives through the checks, and passes the ball off once again. So yellow card expired. Swarthmore back to full strength. Ferentz's pass knocked down and picked up by Richardson. So she comes out of the penalty area, causes a turnover, and gets the ground ball. Good work by the junior. And now draws a foul. So she's had a very eventful last couple of seconds for Swarthmore, but all of it positive. There's under 3 minutes to go in the second quarter. And Swarthmore continuing to claw their way back into the game. Now here's Pion cutting to the middle, fights off a check before passing it off for Emma Hollub. Hollub gets a screen, shoots and scores! A beautiful little pick and roll between Hollub and Pion. Pion set the screen. Hollub went right around her, beats Kahn, and here come the Garnet. It's now 10-5 with 2:34 to go in the half. And for Hollub, it's her 15th of the season. And she now has points in 6 of the last 8 games. And what looked to be a game inching toward running clock has now become a 5-goal game, as the Garnet have rattled off 4 straight in this quarter. Once again, they were down 8-1 after 1. Gave up the first 2 goals here in the second to go behind 10-1. But Swarthmore with 4 straight are back within 5. And now the draw control by Hudlaki, and Irvine ends up rolling toward the near sideline. We're going to get a whistle and a foul called on Eleanor Miller. And then after rethinking it, and maybe with some help from the Swarthmore bench, changed his mind and called the foul on Callie Crawford. So give the draw control to Miller. And good work by Eleanor Miller to box out Crawford and force Crawford to check the empty stick. And here we go once again with Swarthmore, now down 5. Tough pass in the middle. Hollub ran into 2 Haverford defenders and had to back it out. And now here's Irvine. Looks to drive. Is forced to pass it out. And now Miller. She'll switch places with Hollub and pass far side. Now it's behind the goal once again for Hall. Hall comes out near side 1 to shoot, spins back, now scores! Great individual effort by Kira Hall. She wanted to shoot initially once she came out from behind the post, but was cut off by Haverford defender, then was able to spin back the other way and find an opening against Kahn. 5 straight goals by Swarthmore. 10-6 your score in favor of Haverford. 1:18 left in the half. And the Haverford coaching staff right now looking a little confused about what is going on here. Once again, this is a game they thought they had well in hand, leading by 9. But that lead has shrunk to 4. And for Hall, that's her 21st goal of the season. And now a draw control won by Swarthmore. And that was Irvine winning it clean against Hudlaki. So all the momentum has swung and is currently living on the Swarthmore sideline. I mean, if they can get one or two more before halftime, well, maybe one. There's 52 seconds to go in the half. Won't get too greedy, but 5 straight is a nice way to end the half. If you can get a 6th, oh boy. And right now, here's Love behind the net. One to come out near side. Instead goes along the far side. Spins back. Cuts left. Shot on. Goes wide. Clock continuing to run, even though it... So 23 seconds to go in the half. Here's Bloomquist. She's got 2 goals. Is double team. Cuts back left. Her pass too high for Hall. But a foul up coming on Haverford. 13.5 to play in the half. And this is not a free position shot. It looks like one. But I don't believe it is for Bloomquist. And she's at a very tight angle. Cuts right, fires wide. 9 seconds to go in the half. Swarthmore has to work quickly. Here's Hall cutting around in front. Shot ushered wide by Khan. And that'll be the end of the first half. And it's been an interesting first half, to say the least. It looked early on like Haverford was going to run Swarthmore off their home field and ruin senior day completely. But Swarthmore comes back from 10-1 down to score 5 straight. And they trail Haverford at the half 10-6. We'll be back in a little bit with first half numbers and your second half here from Clothier Field in just a little bit. Once again, your halftime score, 22nd ranked Haverford 10, Swarthmore 6. we are through one half of play here at Clothier Field down in Swarthmore, Pennsylvania. And the Garnet trailing Haverford in their final home game of the 2022 season by the score of 10-6. And once again, it looked like a game that was in complete control of the 22nd ranked Fords. They led 8-1 after the opening 15 minutes of play. Eventually extended that lead to 10-1. But then an Isabella Bloomquist goal, her second of the afternoon, started a run of 5 straight Swarthmore goals, including goals by Holub, Love, Miller, and Hall, and have allowed the Garnet to claw their way back into this game to 10-6. On the other side, Roma Hadlaki leads the Fords with 4 goals, 3 of those coming in the first quarter. Catherine Ferentz has 2 goals and 1 assist. Meanwhile, Julia Curran, Hannah Lopez, Jordan DeNaver, and Callie Crawford also have 1 goal each for the Fords. Shots in that first half were 24-14 in favor of Haverford. Helen Stafford made 9 saves for Swarthmore, while Sarah Kahn made 2. And both goalies are back out in their respective creases to begin this third quarter. That begins with a draw control between Hadlaki and Irvine, which will be won by Haverford after a push called on the senior from London, England. And it was very interesting at halftime watching both teams work their goalies. It was really watching 2 different drills at the same time. As Crawford starts to drive it in the middle against 5 defenders. Ball knocked out of her stick. Now a check up high. Catches Silverman. So we'll see Silverman against Stafford here just 31 seconds into the second half. And she'll pass out. And Haverford will set things up, taking it behind the goal. So for Stafford, it was working on a lot of movement. Passes from the post into the middle, kind of like this, except a foul upcoming on Swarthmore. Katie Kemether, the backup goalie for this Swarthmore team, would stand at the goal line even at one post, passing to a coach at the other post. And a shot on here and a save by Stafford. I'm talking about movement, but when the free position shots are right at you and you don't have to move that much, they're easy. And Stafford denies Healy on the free position, giving her 10 saves in this game. Meanwhile, looking at Kahn, well, at first, Annie Bravicos, Haverford's backup goalie, was getting some work in during halftime as Holub is fouled. And then their coaches worked on really, I guess, sight drills. One coach would kind of stand there acting as a defender, and the other coach would kind of turn and spin. That's the way Bloomquist has scored a couple times. Holub scored once that way as well. So just working on seeing a shot through a defender as a shot comes in here and they score. That was the exact drill Haverford was working on at halftime, and Swarthmore still finds a way to score. It's Kira Hall with her second, and the momentum was not slowed by the halftime horn. 10-7 Haverford, 13-17 to go in the third quarter. Hull now with 3 points on the afternoon. But as I said, that was the exact thing Haverford was working on with Con at halftime. And Hull still able to do that exact thing and score. So make it 6 straight goals for Swarthmore. And this looks more like the score I know I was expecting. I'm not sure what you at home were expecting in terms of a score line. But certainly that 10-1 was not what we were expecting coming into this game between 2 pretty good programs. Obviously, one coming in with a 5-game winning streak and has been nationally ranked all season long. So this draw control won by Haverford. It's Ferentz. And Haverford just looking to get something going offensively. This defense for Swarthmore's played much better, led by the goalie Stafford. And now Crawford has the ball checked out of her stick. Stafford able to pick it up. And this defense is swarming this Haverford offense. And once again, this is a Haverford team that's averaging nearly 19 goals a game in their last 5. And they've been stymied for nearly 15 minutes now. Meanwhile, Swarthmore has rattled off 6 straight. Haverford's last goal came with 9:15 to go in the second quarter. So we're now at 12 minutes for Haverford without a goal. And after scoring 10 in a little more than 20 minutes. Shot clock down to 38. Swarthmore has the ball up top for Holub. Now it's Pion. Switches places with Holub. Now here's Holub at the top of the arc. 20 to shoot. Starts to drive left. Runs in to Healy and has to pass it behind the goal. Here's Bloomquist. Looking to cut in. Trying to go around Alexis. Pass in the middle. Misses its target. And the ball bounces in on Kahn. She'll pick up the ground ball as that pass eludes Emma Holub. And back come the forwards in transition. Denaver puts the ball on the ground. And Zach will just usher it out of bounds. Curran tried to come over. Good work using her body by Zach. And she allows that ball to roll over the sideline. And Swarthmore gets it back on the failed clear by Haverford. And there, that was just a completely unforced turnover. But here's a good intercept by Healy to knock that pass to the ground. Ball picked up on the far side by a teammate. And here come the forwards. It's Denaver. Up ahead, Denaver gets it back. Save Stafford. The sophomore stands tall and gets her big stick on the shot from the sophomore from Staten Island. And Stafford has played so well since the first quarter. 11 saves now for her in this game. And there, that was a 2-on-1. I mean, that was as close to a breakaway as you're going to get in lacrosse. And Stafford says no. So if you don't believe the momentum is clearly with Swarthmore, you might want to. Because everything is going Swarthmore's way right now. Here's Pion looking over her options. Throws it behind the goal for Love. Love cuts out in front. Falls down. Push called against Haverford. And Love taking her time getting back to her feet. She was knocked down hard from behind. So a free position shot upcoming for the freshman. Love with a goal already in this game. She'll go against Kahn. Shot on, save Kahn. Ground ball loose. And they score. I believe that was Love getting to the ground ball and just pushing it over the goal line. And it was Love following up her own shot. She gets credit for the goal, her second of the game. Swarthmore with 7 in a row, and they cut the gap to 2. Once again, this was a 10-1 game, and it's now 10-8, 9:33 to go in the third. Just a tremendous turnaround by the Garnet. And they're nearly all the way back. Still plenty of time here in the third. And this is the one area Haverford has still had success, the draw controls. And we'll see how Irvine does against Hadlaki on this one. Once again, Irvine leads the league in draw controls with 75 entering today. But Hadlaki wins the race to the ball and picks up the draw control. And here come the Forts once again. They've had good looks, but Stafford's played much better, as has the defense in front of her. Here's Ferentz at the top of the arc. Switches places with Healy. Now the ball works its way in the middle. Shot goes wide. And the officials ruled DeNaver was the closest to it. So Haverford maintains possession. Silverman was cutting. No one saw her. Now here's Silverman. Spins. Draws the foul. I believe that one goes against Richardson. So a free position shot upcoming for Sam Silverman. No goals yet. She has 36 this year. And she's going to pass out of this once again. And the ball's in the middle for Haverford. Pass for Curran hits the turf. But a shove called. And a free position upcoming. And let's see. Haverford has opted to back out of a few of them. This is Healy. Firing on and she scores. So Haverford gets their first goal in over 15 minutes. And pardon me, that was Hadlaki with the free position. It's her 5th of the afternoon. And that stems the tide right now for Haverford. They regain their 3-goal lead. It's 11-8, 8:27 to go. And for Haverford, that just has to feel good right now to relieve the pressure that Swarthmore's been putting on you for the past 15 minutes. So for Hadlaki, that's her 5th and 52nd of the season. So now we've got an 11-8 game approaching the midway stages of the third quarter. Draw control this time won by Swarthmore. It's Pion picking it up off the turf. And here come the Garnet. How do they respond after being hit back for the first time in a while by the Fords? Love wanted to pass behind the goal, instead throws it up top. And now it's Miller in possession. Miller switching places with Hullab. Throws it down low. It's behind the goal. Hall comes out in front and scores. Kira Hall just able to find that little bit of space, working against her defenders, and just pops that stick out. And Khan just, I don't know if she can't see it or she's not tracking the ball, but Hall makes her pay. And you wondered what the Swarthmore response would be. Well, there it is. They answer right back. 11-9 Fords, 7:42 to go in the third. And for Hall, that's her 3rd of the afternoon. It's her it's her 4th hat trick of the season. She's now got 23 goals this season. And the Garnet back within 2 once again. This draw control squirts loose. It's picked up by Ferentz. She's beating Ashley Pion to the ball. So now it's Haverford's turn to respond. What do they have? Now it's Tucker along the goal line near side, being backed down by a couple of Swarthmore defenders and has to pass off. Tucker gets it back, trying to find a cutter. No one's moving for her, so she has to throw it up top for Ferentz. And a whistle on a free position upcoming for Crawford. Pion guilty of the foul. So here's Callie Crawford against Stafford. She drives in. Saved by Stafford. She got the stick down. And Haverford wins the foot race to the sideline. So they maintain possession. And now this ball's on the turf. But Tucker there to pick it up. So now Crawford puts her foot in the ground before going right. Ball gets knocked loose from Hadlaki. She turns it over. I believe she ran into Richardson, causing the ball to pop out. And Swarthmore picks up the ground ball. That was Paleo with the scoop. But a turnover here as LeBeau missed Hollab with the pass. And here comes Tucker the other way, spinning away from LeBeau before passing it off. Under 6 minutes to go in the third. Swarthmore within 2 after once trailing by 9. And a free position shot upcoming for Haverford. Haverford has scored once in this quarter, came on a free position. They don't take it. Instead, here's Crawford driving in, and she scores. She took the feed from Hadlaki, continued going to her right, found the space she needed to throw it back against Stafford. And Crawford restores the 3-goal lead. 12-9 Fords. 5:43 to go in the quarter. And for Crawford, that's her second of the afternoon. 38th of the season. She came into today 6th in the league in goals. And for Hadlaki, just her 10th assist of the year. So Swarthmore taking their time getting set for the draw control. And once again, Irvine will square off with Hadlaki, a pair of seniors going at it. And it's Hadlaki coming away with the draw control, despite the pressure from Ashley Pion. And here's Kate Severson throwing a pass up ahead, allowing Haverford to get set in the offensive zone. Here's Crawford finding Ferentz. Ferentz drives and spins, but she runs into a double team, has to give it up to Healy. Now Healy's cut off. Her option is Crawford. She drives right, can't find anywhere to shoot. And a flag and a free position upcoming, I believe, for Haverford. Foul was away from the play. Nancy Tucker drew the foul against Elizabeth LeBeau, and Tucker will take the free position. Actually, no, she won't. Said they work it around. Hadlaki through traffic, save, and no, it rolls through. It looked like it hit something in front. But then I guess the ball still had enough momentum on it to continue going forward. And Hadlaki will get credit for her 6th of the game. And that's quickly followed up by a Swarthmore timeout. 4:45 to go in the third quarter. And the 22nd ranked Haverford Fords lead Swarthmore 13-9. And once again, we're in the final week of the regular season for Centennial Conference play. Both these teams have 2 games left after today. Swarthmore will be on the road for those final 2. They'll take on Washington College on the 27th before ending the regular season against Bryn Mawr on the 30th. Meanwhile, for Haverford, they're taking on Ursinus next Wednesday at Haverford before ending the regular season against Franklin and Marshall. The Diplomats rank 2nd in the country and currently in action against Washington College. And that game was 4-4 at one point midway through the second quarter, but the Diplomats have now opened up a 9-goal lead over Washington College with 2:37 to go in the third quarter. So McDaniel, who won today, as of right now will go alone in 4th place in the Centennial Conference standings at 4-3. And Swarthmore and Washington College would be sitting in a tie for the 5th and final playoff spot. And that game next Wednesday down in Maryland will be huge as far as who is in the driver's seat for that 5th spot. Because if you end up with the same record, the head-to-head becomes the tiebreaker. So if both these teams lose, which they are both currently doing, they'll go to 3-4. So that becomes a huge game next week. And then if Swarthmore wins it, they're definitely in the catbird seat because their final game of the season is against Bryn Mawr, who is yet to register a victory in Centennial Conference play. They are 0-7. Meanwhile, Washington College would be home to Dickinson, who sits second from the bottom in the league at 2-5. So it really might all come down to next Wednesday as far as who gets in the 5th position. Of course, McDaniel could drop back as well and open up a whole nother can of worms, which always is loved by the conference office when you have to go into tiebreakers and tiebreakers with multiple teams. Obviously, the easiest thing to do is win all your games, and most likely you're the 4, and you're hosting that 4-5 game. So after the Swarthmore timeout, Haverford wins the draw control. And it's Callie Crawford bringing it into the offensive end. There's Catherine Ferentz passing off right for Healy. Ferentz gets it back, falls down, ball's on the ground. Scrap for it, won by Haverford. That was Hadlaki getting the ground ball. Foul called on Swarthmore. Not a free position, so it's passed to the near post for Denaver. Now behind for Ferentz. Crawford looks to drive. Foul upcoming on Swarthmore. Looks like it's on Pion. She's not quite sure what she did. Not sure what Richardson did either, but she's in the position like she committed the foul. Nope, now they switch places, so it was on Pion. I'm still not sure if she knows why it's on her. But here's Crawford. She'll take the free position and score. So Crawford completes her hat trick. And the Swarthmore deficit grows to 5, 14-9, 3:53 to go. And for Crawford, she completes her 8th hat trick of the season. Up to 39 goals now on the year. You can see Haverford start to open it up a little bit once again. It was 11-9 at one point, but the Fords have scored 3 straight. Now we're looking at a 14-9 game with just under 4 minutes to go in the quarter. And right now it looks like Elena Irvine asking for an explanation of what that foul was all about. And now both coaches are being brought in for a little conference. Can't quite pick up what they're saying. Now the conversation seems to be steered more toward the Swarthmore bench. And that was a rather lengthy explanation given to head coach Karen Borby, but I'm not sure if she's happy with it. I mean, I don't know that any coach ever is. But we'll resume play once again with the draw control. And once again, won by Haverford. It's Crawford. She had 38 this year, and she's won a handful. I don't have the exact number in front of me. But she's done well picking those up. Now it's the Fords who have scored the last 3 straight with the ball. It's Tucker up top. Now Ferentz. Ball on the far side for Healy. Back up top, Ferentz. Fakes left, goes right. Pass into the middle. DeNaver backs out. Saves the possession. Still 50 to shoot. Ferentz hands off to Hadlaki. And her option is Tucker, near side. Gets around a defender. Cuts in. Shot goes wide. DeNaver the closest to it. Ball stays with Haverford. So we approach 2:40 to go in this third quarter. Here's Crawford. Passes off for Hadlaki. Her shot gets blocked. Ball rolls out of bounds. Tucker saves the ball for Haverford, but her pass well behind Healy. Foot race to the ground ball, won by Kate Severtson. And now Severtson turns it over. Here comes Elena Irvine with speed. 2-on-2. And Irvine will stop and let her teammates come forward and set up the attack. Wasn't quite sure what she was going to do. She finds a pass and a shot and a save by Kahn. Ground ball picked up by Bloomquist. And now a whistle. And the shot clock was reset. And it's being reset to 72. It was at 58. I'm not quite sure why it was reset to 72. There was a shot and a save by Kahn and a ground ball by Swarthmore, so 60 seems right. But Swarthmore will take it. Shot on, save Kahn. And then she picks up the ground ball in traffic. As Bloomquist is turned aside. Bloomquist with 2 goals in this game. Couldn't get her third there. And here are the Fords behind the Swarthmore goal with Tucker. Tucker being checked tightly by Zach. Now Tucker has to give it up behind the goal once again. Tucker just nowhere to go, has to pass it off. Tough pass corralled by Silverman. She gets knocked to the ground. Gets up, maintains possession, and a charge is called against Sam Silverman. So good work by the Swarthmore defense drawing the charge. And Silverman turns it over. Here's Miller in the midfield. Fights off a check from Hadlacki. Miller has options, picks to shoot. Save Khan. So Miller had a pass to her left, a pass to her right, and the shot available. She chose to shoot, and Khan comes up with her 4th save of the quarter, 6th in the game. Back come the Fords quickly in transition. Time runs out, and that's the end of 3 here from Clothier Field. So Swarthmore was able to cut the deficit to 10-8 on a goal by Abigail Love with 9:37 to go in the quarter. Then the two teams traded goals, and it was Haverford scoring the final 3 times in the last 5:43 of the quarter to extend their lead back up to 5. After 3 quarters, it's Haverford 14, Swarthmore 9. Looking at the numbers through 3 quarters of play, shots in the game 34-21 in favor of Haverford, as are the ground balls 21-17. And I'm trying to figure out if this is Clothier Field or Camp Randall because they're playing jump around as we head to the 4th quarter. I don't think it's Camp Randall because no one's really jumping. But still, we continue on. Helen Stafford with 12 saves for Swarthmore. Meanwhile, Sarah Kahn has 6 turnovers in the game, even at 10. It's Kira Hall leading the offense for Swarthmore with 3 goals and 1 assist. And Roma Hadlacki with 6 goals to pace the Fords. And the draw control picked up by Callie Crawford. We're underway to begin the 4th quarter. Once again, the Garnet trail by 5. We're down at one point in this one, 10-1. And got it all the way back to 10-8 and 11-9. Ball worked up top for Crawford. Passes in the middle for DeNaver. Can't get the shot away. Good defense. Now here's Hadlacki. She had no trouble finding shots today. As the ball knocked out of her stick, it's on the ground. A push called on Lizzie Healy, and the ball's turned over to Swarthmore. So a rare miscue by the senior from Randolph. And it gives possession to the Garnet. Here's Emma Holleb. Up ahead for Love. Cuts in, passes off for Bloomquist, and she's denied by Kahn. Ball on the ground, picked up by Love, and she's going to back it out and reset the offense. So Bloomquist denied on the doorstep, and the gap remains at 5. Centering pass goes wide of Irvine. Race for the ground ball. And somehow it's Haverford that comes away with it. And here they come quickly in transition. And after all that speed, they'll slow things down. As Elizabeth Zack comes on for Swarthmore to play defense. Here's Kelly Crawford driving right and scoring. Just able to sneak that into the lower right corner of the cage, beating Stafford. And Haverford starting to pull away just a little bit. 15-9 Fords, 12:39 to go. And for Crawford, that is her 4th goal of the afternoon. It's the 4th time this season that she's scored at least 4 goals in a game. I saw Julia Kern come on, thought she might take the draw, but Hedlacky's still out there, so it'll be her against Irvine. Ball up in the air and caught by Eleanor Miller just before it hit the turf. Good job by the senior to get the draw control for Swarthmore. And let's see if they can't get some of the momentum back they had late in the second, early in the third quarter. Once again, it's Haverford that have scored the last 4 goals. Swarthmore with the ball behind the goal. Foul called on Haverford. And the official reaching in to her pocket and giving a yellow card. It's going to go against Caroline Alexis. It's a slash against Alexis, the senior from Basking Ridge, New Jersey. She's out for 2 minutes. And a golden opportunity for Swarthmore to kill some of this Haverford momentum. It's Bloomquist behind the goal. Starting play once again. Hall comes out in front. And a save by Kahn. She made the save and then didn't realize where the ball was. But luckily for her, a teammate was able to pick up the ball. And it was Maria Craig getting the ground ball. Foul on Bloomquist as she throws her stick into the ribs of Silverman. And Silverman's taking a little bit of a beating in this game. Took a big hit from LeBeau's early. And then continuing just to take on Swarthmore bodies as she tries to run the offense. And to show for all her, I'm sure, the amount of bruises she'll have after this game, no goals and 1 assist so far. Here's Silverman giving it up to Ferentz. Now ball's on the far side. As Haverford's just trying to kill off the yellow card right now, which is down to 50 seconds. They do have to shoot. Pass for Silverman knocked down. Ferentz drives back in. Pass again knocked down. And here come the Garnet after the ground ball pickup. And here's Zach, fights off the check from Curran. Shot wide. And Hall gets to the end line first. .10:22 to go in the game. 17 seconds on the Alexis yellow card. Ball behind for Love. Trying to make a cut. Finds an option near post. Bloomquist. And she's turned aside again by Kane. Up ahead. Here's Sedlacki at midfield. A whistle and a timeout. Called by Haverford. 9:55 to go in the game. Haverford leads Swarthmore 15-9. .9:55 to go. 22nd ranked Haverford leads Swarthmore 15-9. And both teams will be at even strength after the timeout. The yellow card to Alexis did expire before Haverford called the timeout. Shots in the game are now 35-25 in favor of Haverford. Well above their season average of just 28. Ground balls are 24-20. Also in favor of the Fords. And here's Sedlacki immediately getting fouled by Love when play resumed. And here are the Fords on offense with Curran. Pass to the far side. Comes near for Sedlacki. Gets a screen from DeNaver. Pass into the middle. Whistle. And a foul on Swarthmore. Free position shot upcoming. Stafford needs to come up here. Well, never mind. They back out once again. And it's Ferentz not taking the opportunity. But Ferentz gets it back after a feed from Herzig. Now Ferentz finds Sedlacki and she scores. Good work by Ferentz. Working through a double team. Made a couple of cuts and then saw the cutting Sedlacki. And for Sedlacki, that's her 7th. Matching her season high, which came a week ago against Washington College. She's up to 54 goals on the year. And she's showing you why. She's the leading goal scorer in the Centennial Conference. She was also, speaking of that 7-goal performance against Washington College, the most recent Centennial Conference Offensive Player of the Week. She had the 7 goals along with 3 ground balls, 2 draw controls, and a caused turnover in that win over Washington College. And more importantly, for the context of this game, it extends the Haverford lead up to 7, 16-9. And this draw control picked up off the turf by Eleanor Miller. And Swarthmore now just looking for something. This is kind of like the first quarter and a little bit of the second where they're just looking for something to provide that spark because they know they can do it. They got all the way back within 2. But right now, Haverford showing you why they've been a top 25 team for a majority of the season. Just extending that gap back out to 7. Ball at the far side with Irvine, taking it behind the goal line. Looking to drive toward the middle, can't get the left hand free. Passes off to Holub, she draws a foul. And an 8-meter upcoming. This might be the spark. It's Emma Holub. She has a goal in this one so far. Working against Kahn. Holub lets it go. Kahn goes low and makes the save. And then throws her stick over the loose ball to prevent a rebound. And Kahn very quietly now up to 10 saves in this game. Here's Herzig passing across midfield. Now the ball behind the goal line. And now it's Ferentz. We have 7:30 to play. Tucker throws it behind the cage. Pass out in front. Misses Herzig. Curran there to back it up. Ferentz had a cutter. Chose not to hit Silverman with the pass. Instead gives it off to Curran. Curran goes down hard. And we'll have a foul against Swarthmore. Clock is stopped with 7:09 to play. And Curran takes the shot and scores. And Curran's been one of the main ones that have opted not to take the free position shots for Haverford. She takes that one. And all of a sudden, we've got an 8-goal game once again. 17-9 with 7:07 to go. And this season, the fourth quarter has traditionally been Swarthmore's weakest quarter in terms of goal differential. You look at the other 3 quarters. First quarter, they're plus 21. Second quarter, plus 16. Third quarter, plus 15. Fourth quarter, though, minus 6. And that's not being helped today, as right now they are minus 3 here in this fourth quarter. And it allows the Fords to go back up by 8. For Curran, that's her second goal of the afternoon. And this draw control picked up by Caroline Alexis. Now it's Leah Herzig, who we're starting to see more of in this game. Didn't see too much of her in the first half, but is out here now in the fourth. And Herzig gets knocked down as the ball checked out of her stick. Herzig able to win it back from Miller. Still plenty of time, 60 to shoot. Here's Silverman passing off for Curran. Starts to drive, has the ball knocked out of her stick. Huge fight for the ground ball, and it's picked up by Sophia Paleo. And Paleo able to pass out of traffic. And here come the Garnet the other way. This pass too high for Love. Race to the sideline. And it's able to be kept in bounds by Kira Hall. And then she immediately gets fouled by Joanna Jengo. So 5:40 to go. Kira Hall trying to find an option. Pass hits the ground looking for Pion. Ground ball picked up by Irvine. Well, it looks like we have a foul against Swarthmore, giving the ball back to Haverford. Now here's Craig making her way across midfield. Finds Curran. And she does not have the number, so she's going to wisely back out with 5 minutes to go in the game and her team up 8. Here's Julia Curran, the most recent goal scorer, looking things over at the top of the arc. Finds Nancy Tucker. Tucker back up top for Curran. Pass goes in the middle. Misses Silverman. Hannah Lopez gives chase and picks up the ball before it reaches the end line. Still 38 to shoot. 4:27 to go in the game. Ferentz spinning left. Is forced to back out. Thought she was going to shoot immediately after getting the pass from Herzig, but couldn't do it. Now a whistle. And it looks like a foul on Swarthmore against Eleanor Miller. Clock is stopped at 4:04. And we have an 8-meter shot upcoming for Ferentz. So again, she has 2 goals and 2 assists in this one. Goes in on Stafford and scores. And this will be followed up by a timeout by Swarthmore. But for Catherine Ferentz, it's her 3rd goal of the afternoon. And it's her 3rd hat trick of the season. She had 3 goals in wins over Scranton and Albright. And now 3 here. And with 4:02 to go, Haverford matches its largest lead of the game at 9, 18-9. So in case you're wondering what it takes to beat this Haverford team, it is possible. They have 3 losses this year. Basically, you have to be a nationally ranked team to do it. The only 3 teams this season to knock off Haverford this year are the College of New Jersey. That was on March 15th. And the Lions were ranked 8th in the country at the time. And they beat Haverford 18-6. Then in their very next game, they took on number 14 York. And the Spartans were able to knock off the Fords 18-6. So not only beating them, but actually 10-goaling them to get the running clock. And then their most recent loss came against Gettysburg to open Centennial Conference play. That was on March 26th. And it was the Bullets knocking off the Fords 19-9. So, like I said, you have to be a ranked team, but pretty much be a top 14 team. Because Haverford earlier this season did go on the road, and it's one of their 7 road wins, knocked off number 22, Christopher Newport. So it's a very high level of competition that have knocked off the Fords this season. And as I said, not only beat them, but kind of took it to them when you look at those scores, 12, 12, and 10, the margin of victory in those 3 games. And once again, they've scored just about 19 goals a game during their current 5-game winning streak against the Centennial Conference. And they're about there now at 18-9. So Swarthmore wins the draw control. And they'll go back to work. It's Isabella Bloomquist behind the goal. She has 2 goals so far. Looking for a third, but now it's Love. Looking for an option. Has a cutter in Miller, and she scores! A great catch by Eleanor Miller. It was a tough pass from Love, but Miller able to corral it and then get the shot off from a tight angle, beating Kahn. And it's 18-10 with 3:34 to go. As Miller gets her second on the board, now has 22 on the season. And for Love, that's her 10th assist of the year. So Swarthmore able to cut the lead to 8. And we'll see another draw control between Hadlaki and Irvine. And this kind of a line drive out of the 2 sticks, won by Miller. But then a foul called on Carolina Alexis for an illegal stick check. And Miller throws a pass down low from Bloomquist. Had room, but then was sealed off by 3 defenders. Pass up top for Holub. Spins left. Now Miller controls. Good job keeping her feet after that stumble. And now works it around the perimeter. It's Irvine trying to cut in. Takes a stick to the head. That draws whistles immediately. I'm not sure it's going to be a card, but it will be a free position shot for Elena Irvine, who's pointless so far today. Comes in with 38 points. Irvine goes in, bounces it, and scores. So Elena Irvine gets her 23rd goal of the season. She now has 7 goals in the last 2 plus this game. And that cuts the gap to 7 at 18-11. And something Swarthmore was looking for coming into this game. If they could secure the victory, it would give them their 3rd straight full winning season. And when I say full season, I'm not taking 2020 into account because that was a shortened, COVID-shortened season. But at the time, Swarthmore was 5-0 when COVID canceled the rest of their season. Obviously, if they don't do it today, they'll have 2 more chances next week at Washington College and Bryn Mawr. But to do it on Senior Day against a nationally ranked opponent will be a nice feather in their cap for this season. But right now, still needs 7 more goals to force overtime. And here's Miller with another draw control for the Garnet. So Swarthmore still showing plenty signs of life. Once again, trailing by 9 in this 4th quarter, getting it back to 7. But the clock not their friend. We're down to 2:30 to go in the 4th quarter. And here's Miller. Throws it behind the goal line. And here's Bloomquist. She wants to drive, spins into a double team, gets the pass away, out of the reach of Love, but a whistle. And Bloomquist draws a foul. And it looks like it'll be an 8-meter as the officials stop the clock. Now a discussion by the 2 officials on the near side. I think they both had the foul call. I'm not sure what they could be discussing on top of this. All right, so it won't be a free position. So it looks like the discussion about the location of the foul. So it'll just be a restart for Swarthmore. Now they're trying to get the player who committed the foul, Craig, in the proper position. So the senior from Farmingdale, New York, takes her position behind Bloomquist. And now we just await the official's whistle. And there it is. Here's Miller. Throws it into a crowd. Ball's on the turf. And a tough shot and a save by Kahn. I believe that was Bloomquist. He was able to pick that ball up and somehow get the shot away. But Kahn was there. And she picks up her 11th save of the contest. And it's her 5th game of the year with at least 10 saves. The team is 2-2 so far. Here's Miller in all alone, and she scores. Eleanor Miller just outran everybody to the goal and then just fired a shot past Kahn, finding the upper corner. And we've got a 6-goal game, 18-12 with 1:32 to go. And Miller has been on fire the last couple games. 5 goals against Muhlenberg, 3 here. It's her 3rd hat trick of the season. She had 4 goals against fourth hat trick of the season. 5 against Muhlenberg, 4 against Dickinson, and then 3 against Newman. Actually, I was right. It was 5. I didn't see on my sheet that she also had 3 against Arcadia. And she's up to 23 goals now this season. And the gap is 6. And that ball just gets up to the official's liking. Crawford able to draw the foul against Miller. And Haverford does not have to shoot. 82 on the possession clock, a minute 14 to go in the game. So Swarthmore just needs to pressure, and try to get the ball back. And right now it's in the stick of Ellie Hughes. She goes right on Zach and behind the goal line. Good spin move to get away from Paleo. But not able to go much farther, and then she passes off. And there's Hudlacki, who has 7 goals in this contest. And Hudlacki can't quite corral the ground ball. And the scrum for it goes out of bounds. It'll stay with Haverford. 26 seconds to play. And you can hear the Haverford sideline yell, 20. Shot. Poof. That was a rip out of the stick of Leah Herzig, fired high and wide. And we'll get one more whistle against Swarthmore. Miller commits the foul. 3 seconds to go. 2-1. A whistle. But that's going to do it. Time expires. On the 22nd ranked Haverford Fords come in and defeat Swarthmore by the score of 18-12. And this was a game early on that you thought might get away from Swarthmore when they trailed 8-0 and eventually 10-1 through the second quarter. But the Garnet did a great job fighting back, closing to within 10-8 and 11-9. But from that point on, the 22nd ranked Fords just proved to be too much. And they got 7 goals in this one from Roma Hudlacki. Another 4 from Callie Crawford. Caitlin Ferentz added 3 goals and 2 assists. Julia Curran had 2. Hannah Lopez and Jordan Denaver each with 1. Meanwhile, for Swarthmore, Eleanor Miller and Kira Hall each had a hat trick for the Garnet. Isabella Bloomquist had 2 goals early on in the game for Swarthmore. Abigail Love added 2 goals and an assist. Emma Holleb and Elena Irvine each added 1 goal. Defensively, Elizabeth Zach led the way with 4 caused turnovers and 2 ground balls for the Garnet, while Miller and Francesca Richardson each had 3. Helen Stafford made 12 saves for Swarthmore, while Sarah Kahn finished the game with 11 stops. Shots in the game finished 39-30 in favor of Haverford. So this was senior day and the final home game of the regular season for the Garnet. They go on the road for their final 2 games of the season. So as of right now, pending a 4-5 play-in game that they would host, let's go over the seniors who were honored before the game and potentially played their last home game here at Clothier Field. Ashley Pion, Elena Irvine, Eleanor Miller, Kira Hall, Rachel Cho, and Elizabeth LeBeau. So once again, Swarthmore closes out the season on the road and need to win a pair of games to make the conference tournament. And that push for the playoffs continues next Wednesday as the Garnet heads south to take on Washington College. That'll wrap things up from Clothier Field. Once again, your final score, 22nd ranked Haverford 18, Swarthmore 12. Have a good weekend, everyone.